incomprehensible treatment of human beings by other human beings.
Horrific.
Horrific. It was horrifically inhumane.
The American perspective on the Holocaust during its time was limited. Although many Americans were well informed on the anti-Semitism values of the Germans, they never believed that the German government would go to the extents that they did. The Nuremberg Laws of 1939 and the atrocity that was Kristallnacht made front-page news in the New York Times, heavily informing the American public about the brutality in which the Germans were treating their Jewish population. However, as the events of the Holocaust unfolded, the Germans attempted to cover up all of the inhumane acts that were occurring against the Jews to the larger population.
Although many accounts of the events were being leaked to the western side of the world, common citizens of the United States and other countries were hard-pressed to believe the stories they heard because many of them were second, third, or fourth-hand accounts. Because of this, many prominent newspapers, including the New York Times, pushed the stories of what was happening in Germany to the 4th, 5th, and even 10th pages of the newspaper, insinuating that these articles were not of the utmost importance. Additionally, the majority of the media attention at the time was being focused on the larger war that eventually ended up killing close to 60 million people rather than the small entity of the war that was the Holocaust.
34% of adults and 37% of high school students said that it was possible the Holocaust had never occurred. 65% of adults and 72% of high school students could not identify 6 million as the commonly accepted number of Jews killed in the Holocaust. Only 42% of both groups knew that the symbol that the Jews were forced to wear on their clothes during World War II was a yellow star.
The numbers of people who will look at the title and have no idea what is inside the building demonstrates the level of ignorance that we have to combat, said Dr. David Singer, Director of Research and Publications for the committee. It is appalling and shocking to find substantial percentages of both adults and youths open to the possibility that the Holocaust never happened. The opening of the Holocaust Memorial Museum in 1980 was just one way to combat the ignorance that exists in our country when it comes to the Holocaust. However, education is another more important tool we can use to inform the public on the still relevant events of the Holocaust. The survey conducted by the Roper Organization for the American Jewish Committee found that the knowledge of the Holocaust depends more on education than age. Today, there are only 5 states in the United States that require the teaching of the Holocaust in schools, and 10 states that highly recommend it, Connecticut being one of these 10 states. Additionally, there are 900 college-level professors in the country that are experts in this field.
Although this may seem like a large number, only 30% of the states in this country have mandatory or highly encouraged Holocaust education. Clearly, since there are so many people in this country who are highly misinformed on this piece of history, there needs to be more education on the Holocaust throughout our country. Not only is it important for students and everyone else throughout the world to be informed on the history of our world, but it teaches students about morals and values which they can carry over into many different aspects of their lives.